Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also The Brink, and today I am one, but I haven't done that in a while. But today I want to answer some more community questions. So I had a video a couple of days ago, depending on when you're watching this, it was a couple of days when I'm recording this, where I asked the community, hey, is there anything I can answer that you have a question about anything? Typically it was Steam Deck right now, which that's just the hot item. And yeah, I don't have a Steam Deck yet, but I can go and do the sleuthing. I can go hunt things down, go hunt some sources down, which there's plenty of sources in the descriptions below. So make sure to check that out as I get talking through this, but don't do it. Yeah, you got to keep on watching. You got to watch through all of it so you know everything about the Steam Deck. So before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar. Now, let's get ready to rumble. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike because I'm pretty sure that is copyright probably. Okay, so first up, the first question is, it might be interesting to see how the Windows version of a game runs on the deck compared to its native Linux version. For example, I'd like to see how XCOM 2 and 7 Days to Die run. Both have native Linux versions. I also haven't been able to find any information on if XCOM Chimera Squad works on Steam Deck. Okay, so I do have some decent answers for this. I'm sorry I don't have the best. I do know that 7 Days to Die runs better, or at least some from the videos I've seen, runs better on the Steam Deck and specifically Linux. When you download these games on the Steam OS, it's going to be the Linux version. They don't need to write a Proton layer or anything like that. It just works. And so it doesn't, so 7 Days to Die runs, in my opinion, better on Steam OS watching the videos. Windows, it didn't look like, I couldn't really find anything, but so maybe that's a little, like I said, partially going to be able to answer this. It does seem like it runs good though. I didn't see frames per second. Once I get my Steam Deck, I'll verify that because I love 7 Days to Die. XCOM 2 also looked like it worked great. So no issues really there. And I believe it was a gold status. But XCOM Chimera Squad, I think is, doesn't work as well. I was seeing some issues arise with the Proton DB that there's certain issues with it right now, but hopefully that's resolved, especially since it's XCOM 2 works. So XCOM 2, I watched someone play it for a little while. It seemed like it worked fine. XCOM Chimera Squad, not so much right now. I couldn't verify very well, but it definitely, like, the notes show that it didn't. I do have videos in the description below if you want to watch how those kind of perform. Okay, next question. What's the average clock speed of the CPU and GPU during extensive usage, or alternatively, how much does it throttle? So I'm going to answer both. The CPU can go from 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz, and I believe the GPU sits somewhere around 1.0 to 1.2 gigahertz. You can correct me in the comments if you want. You can also check out steamdeck.com. They have all the specs there. And then, no, it does not throttle. And there's a great article from PC Gamer titled, Does the Steam Deck Throttle? And actually, AMD's Sebastian answers this. He says, optimized for constant performance for an extended period of time, which means the focus has always been on sustained gaming performance without throttling. So essentially that's a good thing. Throttling can be good depending on the circumstances, but sometimes with throttling, you can get performance dips, really great performance dips. With this, you should have consistent performance for the most part, or at least attempted consistent performance. So no, it does not throttle, which is, I think, a good thing. And yeah, so that's, if you want to learn more, description below. Okay, on to the next question. I've got a tricky one for you. Knowing you're in the same boat as I am and don't actually have the deck yet, which I don't, how would you add mods to your game? And then another question actually came in, and so I want to answer kind of both. This might be out of your area of expertise. Wow, you guys don't really believe in me enough when I don't have a Steam Deck. It's like, you want to trust someone that actually holds something. Yeah, I agree. I'll get one soon. I'll get one someday. Okay, back to the question. This might be out of the area of expertise, but has there been any word on better Steam Deck Linux modding support from places like Nexus Mods or anything like that. From what I've learned, it seems like everything needs to be installed manually at the moment, whether that be mods for Bethesda RPGs or custom zombie maps. So this is a very complicated question, as in there's a couple answers. One, you can still use Steamworks mods, the Steamworks system in Steam, to install mods on Skyrim and some other stuff. Now that doesn't include all the mods out there, right? And so you can go that route and be limited by the amount of games that supports, or you could go the route of manually installing it. And those are really the two options I could really find. You could try installing Lutris, which I do have a video in the description. And that's like a game launcher manager. It can do a lot of different things, including Steam, Epic Games, and all that. And you can reroute it. The whole guide reroutes it through SteamOS as UI, so you can easily launch it from launching the SteamOS. And that will allow for some modding and allows for the Nexus mod, but I couldn't find anything. Maybe because going into the next thing, I looked into Nexus, the Nexus Vortex mod manager, which does have a Wine version, but it's garbage rating on Wine. So Wine will have rating, like people will say how good it runs or not on Wine, which is like Proton. It's an application translation layer to allow Windows applications to be run on Linux, and it has a garbage rating, meaning, and that's literally the rating is garbage. Really doesn't work great. That being said, it looks like potentially the Nexus mods or the Nexus website group are going to be potentially looking into a Linux port of this. So there's that. And hopefully sooner than later. A mod manager, really what it does, I guess to explain it a little bit, is it manages, so you can download mods from Nexus website, and then it will install them for you and help kind of hopefully install them together on the, if you have a game that has like 20 mods, hopefully manage them and see which ones are compatible with each other, because sometimes a mod could rewrite another mod's files. Modding is a finicky world, and you have to be really careful. If you put too many mods, you could even crash your system. And so that's what the manager's for. So it's nice, but it works with Windows really well, because traditionally most games run on Windows. We'll see. This might be the dawn of the Nexus Vortex Linux version. So here's to hoping. Yeah, and that's really it for that question. Hopefully it answers enough. We'll get more over the months. This is just the start of something amazing. Okay, next question, and this is one of the previous questionnaires questions. Second question: do you have a recommendation for a micro SD card around 512 gigabytes? Yes, I do, and I actually created a video of it, just barely. That there are 3 options I recommend, and I'll have them in the description below, and I'll also have the video I created in the description below. So I recommend 3 options. Like I said, SanDisk Extreme, Samsung Evo Select, and then the SanDisk Ultra. Now they're all the differences being performance and price. And with the Extreme, the SanDisk Extreme is going to be the most expensive, but you're going to have the best write speeds. Everything else is going to have similar read speeds, because it's capped at 104 megabytes per second. Then it's going to be about $79 for that right now. It could change when you watch this video later down the road. Samsung Evo Select is about $74 for a 512 gigabyte version. And then the SanDisk Ultra is, I believe, about $50 for the 512 gigabyte version. So it's much lower priced, but those write speeds are much lower, while the Samsung Evo Select's write speeds are a balance between the two. So it's not quite the same as the Extreme, but higher than the Ultra. And then the 1 terabyte. So if you're looking at that 512 and you're like, well, maybe I could get a little bit more space, and I don't care about that write, because write really matters if you're going to be moving, installing and uninstalling off that card a lot, or just getting to use it for operating systems, dual boot, whatever it is. The Ultra's 1 terabyte is about $130, I believe, dollars. So there you go. Question answered. Moving on. Ooh, don't mind me hitting the mic a little bit. Okay, is there any cheat engine alternatives that can use the same tables on Linux, or cheat engine works with forcing Proton on it? Now, this is a little bit of a complicated question. I'm going to answer this one the best I could. I can and could, I guess. Uh, really, there's really no way around the cheat engines, the anti-cheat engines, without fundamentally breaking them, which can cause you, if they catch you, can cause you to get banned from that game, and you'd have to rebuy it or create a new account and rebuy it, which is even extra painful. Proton's not going in. Proton can make some of these playable potentially, but if the company doesn't want you to and they detect that's what you're doing, they can ban you. Bungie is doing that right now. Bungie will said if you're going to use Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck, we're going to ban you, straight up ban you, and they're going to know how, or they're going to know that you're doing it. So just as a warning, I wouldn't go that route until we get a little bit further, which sucks. But I really think there's going to, as we get going and there's more and more pressure on these companies to make sure it's compatible, I have a feeling there's two things. One, control from the companies. Two, they want to give it a little bit of time to make sure it's safe. They don't want cheating, even though, I mean, so many of these games have cheats, that have cheaters all the time. People that hack it all the time. Like, they always have to come out with patches to fix this thing. So that's why I'm thinking it's more of they're just trying to bide their time to just play play the waters and just see how it goes. So this is complicated. I think we're going to need to let this question marinate for another month or two before we answer it again. So yeah, let's just leave that. It's not a great answer. I'm sorry. It's just, you're not going to be able to play the games without a fundamental patch to that anti-cheat that could potentially ban you anyways. I just wouldn't recommend it. I'd actually recommend more installing Windows, and I don't even actually recommend that right now to get around that anti-cheat issue, which sucks. How long will the Steam Deck take to get if you reserve the 64 or the 256 gigabyte version? It's really hard to say how the fulfillment rate is going right now without some more data, but from the data I've seen, 64 gigabyte versions are getting fulfilled a little bit quicker just because there's less reservations of them. But I have a feeling the cadence is going to be very similar. Like, they're going to be hitting a point where they're going to probably try to even that out. So people that reserved it sooner get there sooner, but we'll see. If you reserved it in the first few days, then you can expect to be in Q2, Q1, Q2, Q3, and we're almost into Q2. And then if you reserved it probably towards the later part of last year, you're going to be in Q3 or after Q3. And if you reserved it this year, you're probably in to next year. We'll see how the fulfillment rates go. That's really is a big this is a question that doesn't have a real answer unless Valve wants to answer this. I can only just assume, guess, and do some guesstimations, and I do have some other videos on this that you can watch. But yeah, we'll find out more. We'll get a little bit more precise on these estimations as time goes on. So once again, another really hard question to answer, and it's just a partial answer. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, last question is, how long does the battery last on Forza? And it's about average for a lot of the AAA games. It's looking at, if you tweak the performance, you can get about 2+ hours. So if you lock that frames per second to 30, you can expect about 2, maybe even more plus hours of gameplay on that. So it's not bad. Like, a 2-hour gaming session is awesome. It does suck that we're not getting 3 or 4 hours, but you know what? It is what it is, but you can play for that long on Forza. So, and maybe even longer. Maybe you can even play 3 hours if you just bump those graphical settings down a little bit. Okay, those are the questions that I've answered today. I will have some more. I will have probably one final video, at least for now, on this type of series of asking the community questions and answering them. I will probably have another set of videos for this series once I get my Steam Deck in about a month. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below if I did an okay job answering these. If you have better answers for these questions, just let us know. We want to all learn. We all want to grow as a community. So thank you guys for watching all my videos. Make sure to check out Discord. I'll have a link in the description below about just joining our community and chatting. We chat about stuff like this all the time. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Check out my other videos. Peace out. Later.